Hello, everyone.
Hey, everyone.
Welcome to Psychic Sundays.
Hi, I'm Riz the Wiz. Who are you?
I am Lady O. I'm an intuitive empath, and you are?
I am a psychic medium, trance channel, and shaman.
Well, it's nice to meet you.
It's funny, I'm married to an empath.
Really?
Yes.
I happen to be married to one of the top trance channels.
You are?
I am.
I'd love to meet him.
I love it.
Hi, guys.
Well, he's meeting himself right now on the spot. Hey, guys.
Yeah, it's that time in life to meet ourselves, isn't it?
Oh, that's a good one.
It
and
is. Are you ready to meet yourself? Are you ready to meet
really hot right now? Is the air on?
It is.
Thank you.
You know why it gets hot? Because everybody's sending all their energy this way.
You guys, I'm already feeling you, okay? The empath in me, I can't help myself. It's just like, whew. But for those people that are new, we'll give you a little of our house rules tonight.
Yeah, you want to start with that, or you want to just start welcome everybody, do a little shout outs to everybody?
I'm a little off tonight,
Why are we going to get into rules already at the top? We're doing rules.
Oh my God. Okay.
The only rules that we have in our house is take your shoes off at the door. By the way, do you guys take your shoes off at the door? That's a poll question I have for you, because I grew up in being in an Indian household. Even though I grew up in the Bronx and in Harlem, my parents still made us take off our shoes when we came in the house. And it was about, you don't bring outside energy into the house. It was just crazy when I would go over my friends' houses and I would walk onto their nice carpets with my, they were like, no, don't take your shoes off.
Well, I never took my shoes off until I met you. Mm-hmm. And then so it's been 15 years since I've had my shoes off.
Yes.
And I love it. I would never go back. And now everybody I know, everybody that comes to our house, all the kids,
even the kids take their shoes off.
Yeah,
I think that even in their own houses, they don't wear shoes.
Do you guys take your shoes off in your house?
Listen, the more you study energy, the more you will understand. You'll just become more sensitive to it, that you would never really do that, because your home is your sanctuary. This is the place where your spirit guides connect you when you are sleeping, when you are in astral dream time. So you want everything in your sanctuary, in your home, to be like just dialed in for you. Mm-hmm. Because especially if you're watching us, then I already know that you're all about energy, all about your spirit guides, all about the unknown. Mm-hmm. I have a question for you.
Yes.
I've been meaning to ask you this all day. So as we get closer to summer equinox, mm-hmm. which is, I think, 2 weeks away, mm-hmm. we're going to be on the East Coast doing we'll tell you about that later. Mm-hmm.
Filming.
Do you feel as an empath that you're going to, do you feel time the same way as an empath? Like, do you feel, okay, even the planet has moved halfway around the sun?
Yeah, time has definitely sped up, as you guys probably have figured out by now. But I think it's because it's a conscious collective. It has to do with also how we've married into technology so intimately. And I think that everything has sped up because everything's faster. I'll give you an example.
No, I mean, do you feel like if you didn't know it was June, would you know? Like during the daytime, right? If you didn't have the time on your phone, and you just never looked at it, would you have a pretty good estimate of what time it is?
It would be hard because it seems like right now it's 4 o'clock, or it's actually 7 o'clock, right? Pacific Standard Time, and it feels like it's 4 o'clock.
For you, it feels like it's 4.
Yeah, because the sun is really hot overhead still.
Okay, so it's not empathic. It's more about you actually physically feeling the light or not.
What I feel is the energy fields moving slower or quicker, or if it's like static, like if we go into a haunted house or a location where there's paranormal activity, down. Everything is like static and still, and very thick, the energy. Yeah. I wanted to ask everybody though, I don't know if you guys recall, I gave you a homework assignment last week, and I am Miss Lady O Empath teacher, and I want to ask who did their homework. So the homework was, and Erica made fun of me because it was very, by the way, Erica, our Virgo assistant, is here.
Everybody.
Okay, so Erica made fun of me because I guess my assignment was pretty intense and steep, like for senior class. But I gave it to you guys because it's a good start. It's a jump start.
You want to remind everyone?
Yes. So what you're supposed to do this week is look at everything from a new lens as much as possible, even if you're faking it and you're forcing it, but you're looking at everything from a positive light, like, oh yeah, this was for me. This is good for me. This is why I needed this. Like flip the script, basically, and do it as a test to see what would happen at the end of the week, and if you would find any new results. Because some people want to kickstart their awakening process, and this is a good way to get the crowbars underneath the tiles
to see how you react. If you can change your reaction.
Yes.
That's a hard one.
It's a hard one,
right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that, in fact, I would say that the very center of spiritual growth is you've changed your reactions to things.
Yes.
You know, if you guys have seen this particular channeling, and I think it was Phineas who said it when I channeled Phineas, and he talked about the word creation and the word reaction having the same letters, and that when you first experience something, you go into a reaction, and if you stay in just the reaction, you're stuck, right? You become stagnant, and you're repeating things that no longer serve you. But if you go from a reaction to a creation, then you are aligned with your divine purpose, which is the never-ending creative process of yourself. That's your divine purpose, the never-ending creative process of yourself. So reaction and creation having the same letters. English is a very magical language, even though people don't give it a lot of credit, because they think it's very simple and not as complex and layered as many other languages. But there's a reason, right? There has to be something like that. Just like there has to be something as simple as cheesecake. You don't have to have the most complicated desserts. Sometimes it's simple. Sometimes it's just apple pie. But it's a classic, and you can always find something new in it when you taste it. And English is a very interesting language. The other two words that have the same letters are listen and silent. So if you want to be able to listen to your spirit guides, to the universe, sending you downloads, then you need to learn how to become silent within yourself. It doesn't mean you stop talking. What we're talking about is the stillness within you. So these are some magical things. I got more, but what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I just wanted to tell you where some people are coming from today. So we have Red Deer, Alberta, Canada. That's where Amy Yarbrough is from.
Okay. Hi, Amy.
Yeah. And let's see. We have...
do some roll call.
You have some Happy Father's Day. Oh, my God. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to everybody out there.
Wow.
To all the dads, to all the stepdads, to all the single dads, to all the moms who have to also be dads, and to everyone who's lost a dad or a father figure. We send you a lot of love today. Know that they're always with you on the other side, watching you and cheering you on. And even if you never had a dad or a father figure in life, know that the Great Spirit is with you and your guides are with you. So we have Calgary, Canada. We have the Philippines. Calgary, Alberta. One of my favorite wrestlers from WWF was from Calgary, Alberta. Bret the Hitman Hart. Do you know who Bret the Hitman Hart is?
Yes, I do. Maryland.
Peace, Alberta.
North Carolina. We have Iowa. And yeah.
All right.
And somebody said Valhalla.
Valhalla? Someone wrote Valhalla.
Yeah.
But Valhalla is New York also. There's a
town. I got really excited for a second.
You're talking to a Viking.
I'm like, wait a minute. Are we like
We definitely have people contacting us from Valhalla.
Are we talking my ancestors from Valhalla?
Hey, one of your ancestors is using YouTube to reach us instead of doing mediumship with us.
Kicked the night off for us. We have South Carolina, Northern Ontario, Colorado, Virginia Beach, Victoria, Australia.
Hey.
Toronto, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Calgary.
Oh, amazing.
Awesome.
Welcome, guys. So,
Los Angeles.
If it's your first time, this is Psychic Sundays. Basically, we started this about 10 months ago with just a few subscribers. We're over 250,000 of you guys helped us reach this. Thank you so much. It's been an unbelievable ride. It's not stopping anytime soon. We started this because it was like a no-brainer for us. We've literally been having Psychic Sundays, but without a camera for 15 years, because every Sunday night in our house.
This is what we've been doing. Yeah. And everybody who knows us knows that we just do this all the time anyway. So we were like, why don't we just film what we already are doing?
Let's put a couple of lights in our living room.
Yeah, exactly.
And let's just, put on our clothes and just like make it fun. So that's what we're doing. Psychic Sundays is a 2 hours of us doing free psychic readings, and it's for anyone to just jump in and write your questions, and we will just select different questions that we feel are the ones we're supposed to answer tonight. There's no other system. It's literally just instinctual with us. Again, the readings are free, but if you'd like to make a super chat donation, of course, it's always welcome. It helps to keep the love and the energy and the channel going, and but not obligated to. Another thing is that if it's your first time, we welcome you, and we'll try to get some of our first timers first. What else do you want to talk about? I think house rules are.
I actually want to say something specific. As we are learning about YouTube, because this is all relatively new for us in this way.
Yeah.
What I'd like to ask everybody is to make a habit, if you like our shows and you like tuning in, a way that you can help us to really like activate the algorithm even more is to comment under the videos.
Yes.
You believe it or not, that shows YouTube a lot of things. So you actually, if you're quiet, it's okay. But if you could just comment, it would really help.
And share the video with people, and maybe they can watch it later. It doesn't have to be live.
But it's the comments, and we want to hear what you guys have to say.
I love the comments you guys have been writing.
Do it on the lives as well, you know?
They're really paying attention. They know the cats' names.
Yeah.
They are commenting on some of our how we dress.
My favorite comments.
And our interaction.
My favorite comments are after the lives, like a few days later, somebody writes, "Oh my God, you gave me a message about so-and-so, and I found out, you know."
Right.
Yeah, like the confirmations, the spirit shout-outs.
Okay,
and
let's
it's
talk about
so
spirit
cool.
shout-outs.
Yes, let's talk about it.
Shout-outs.
Spirit shout-outs.
Spirit shout-outs. So what happens is, before we start taking questions, and throughout the evening, I get downloads, meaning my spirit guides, your spirit guides are all kind of having their own chat going on. And sometimes people from the other side who are connected to some of you out there will say to me either their name or the name of a person they're connected to who's watching, or a specific quality, situations, in private joke or something. So you will know who it is that's coming through. So I give a couple of those to start off with, and if that pertains to you, if that message is for you, you'll know it, and you'll type into the comment box or the chat box with Erica, and I'll deliver the message to you. And the other thing is, if it's a mediumship reading, I do offer mediumship readings here. I would need your first name and the first name of the person who crossed over and when they crossed over. That's all we need to know. And then if we're meant to make a connection, we will.
I'm feeling very chill today.
How are you?
I got my California vibes going right now. I don't know why I feel very California today. And you know what's really weird is I was born and raised here. Normally, I'm like, get me out of here. Sometimes I reject California completely. And then today I'm like,
sometimes you seem more New York to me than me.
I'm serious. I'm like,
and I feel more California than you.
Yeah, I'm like, can I get out of here? Can we leave? Can we go? Can we get out of LA? But honestly, like today, for some reason, I just like...
And then you come back to your senses about how wonderful LA is.
The other day, we were watching like retro shows from like Chips. Oh my God, with what's his name? The cop. What's his name?
We'll wait.
Okay. Eric Estrada. For all you menopausal women out there, you all know about memory loss, right? So.
Okay, so Chips. We're kind of like Chips.
I hope so.
I'm like Punch and you're John, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think so. But honestly, I just love looking at California back then with the highways were like so empty. The cars were just like, right. I remember everything was like that. And then the road signs, like there's different exits that we exit now.
Right.
Were unincorporated, underdeveloped, that are now full of houses all the way up into the mountains.
I love watching that because I grew up, when I was growing up in the Bronx and watching things like Chips, it was like another planet. Yeah. Part of me always knew that I would one day be in California, but it didn't make any sense because if a kid from the Bronx says that, it's like, well, that doesn't really mean anything. Okay. I mean, we barely had some tree where I lived. It was all concrete. And I would watch, like my big brother would watch Chips. I would watch Three's Company. And it was like a fantasy land to me. It didn't seem real. Right. And then I realized
That's how I felt about New York, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
You thought everybody's going to be leaning out the window going, hey, Vinny.
Yeah, and sitting on the steps.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I waited for that.
Which is true. That did happen, actually. But I ended up living, and little did I know, I would end up living where Chips would be filmed.
Right.
And when I watched some of those episodes on, was it Amazon? And I was like, oh my God, that's our house up that hill.
Right. And I love when they go to the Santa Monica Pier.
And that's what's surreal
and everyone
about
was
it.
so happy back then.
Really happy.
There was a scene where everybody was roller skating, no phones. Everyone's paying attention to the roller skaters.
Yes.
Everyone's at the derby. Everybody's skating.
Yes.
Everyone is like
no
talking.
one is holding a camera.
Everyone's socializing, looking at each other's faces.
Yes.
Although I love technology, because obviously that's how we're communicating with you guys. But there was something to be said about how time was slower then, because we're not like.
So we need to do I think people are going to start to do
no cell phone
media-free weekends and media-free trips where. And I think this is going to happen more.
Do you guys practice that? I want to know if anybody else is practicing that right now.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be more like Gen Z is going to start it, and then Gen Alpha is going to really start doing it.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I do. I think they're going to start to do these events and weekends where no one is on a phone and no one is allowed to even bring a phone, because that's just the way cycles go, right? You want to purge things that are overwhelming or overdone. And those are some of the predictions that I have made over the years have been about these mass events or different shifts that are happening in society. And when I do these readings with you guys, I also perceive shifts that are happening within you, sometimes a little bit before the person themselves knows exactly how to articulate what that shift is. Right? Because now modern psychic work, of course, we still do mediumship, but we also are helping you tap into how to empower yourself, align yourself, free yourself, have more peace. And so this is
I have a psychic question for you.
For sure. What is it, baby?
Right before you get your psychic hit, like when you have a psychic shout out, there's a momentary, something I'm sure clicks or happens in your mind or your brain or your consciousness, where you switch gears, right? And you start going into a different channel, on a radio station, right?
Yes.
And I want to know what's that process feel like to you before you start doing their spirit shout outs tonight. I think people might be curious.
Okay, there's two things, guys. It's good to explain how psychic energy works, because you could be experiencing it right now at home on day to day. And for someone like myself who's been navigating it since I was 7 years old, professionally now for almost 20 years. Okay, so getting my first readings messages when I was a kid, and then finally through all the stuff you have to go through to get where you want to go. The last close to 20 years I've been doing readings. So there's a certain level of skill that I want to say that psychic skill, then you're able to tap into it faster. I can tap into it faster now. When I first started 20 years ago, I would really have to think more. I might get one message, but 20 years ago, there's no way I could have done an hour-long reading. I would have gotten one or two things, and then I would have just kind of not gotten anything else. I would have run dry. So now, because I have practiced that and really worked that muscle, I can tap in the way I do here for 2 hours and go there immediately. Now, still, if I don't get something, I tell the person I'm sitting with, I don't have anything on that for you. It's not the right time for it to come through, or it's just not going to come through me. And maybe somebody else will deliver it to you. Okay. So what starts to happen is you're talking about what happens internally? I start to feel things slowing down, and they start to slow down. Okay, you hear how the air conditioner just went off? And we were talking louder than what was necessary. Now I've dropped my volume. So it's like the background noise cuts out when I go.
Is that why we like ASMR so much?
I love those.
Let's do an ASMR show, because I've been really wanting to do an ASMR show lately. So how about if we give the rest of, let's do 10 minutes. And
you want to talk at this volume?
Let's talk really, really
low. That
low.
would be interesting.
And see
so I have to be
if that activates everybody in a different way.
All right, this is how we're going to do it now. Okay, we're going to speak at this volume, and let's see if this shifts how you are feeling energy. Because if the frequency and the sounds in which we are emanating out through our voice if we become consciously aware of that, then how does that land to where you are, and how do you receive that?
Yes,
Does it
because
help you?
Might activate people in a different place within themselves.
All right, well, that's
And
what we're going to do.
I definitely want to know if you guys can actually hear us, but we're talking very, very quiet.
Okay.
And I'm very curious.
I will begin by giving some spirit shout outs that I'm feeling. There is a very interesting person on the other side. It's a gentleman coming through. He is connected to someone named he's connected to someone named Francis or Fran. And he's a gentleman who's on the other side, and he's talking about this person. Now that Francis or Fran might be one of you, or it might be someone that is very close to him, but he's mentioning that to me. All right.
Okay, so people say they're starting to fall asleep. They
All right.
love it. They're also saying...
We don't want you to fall asleep.
They're also saying that they feel it through their whole body.
All right.
And now some people are saying we sound like Bob Ross.
Bob Ross.
With the happy little clouds.
Do you know that Bob
Just do
Ross...
a happy little painting. Bob Ross is still with you.
We're just going to put a little third eye here. Hey, here's a little spiritual temple we're going to put in the mountain.
Yeah, we'll just tap right here and just make a happy little cloud.
Make a little spirit
a little
guide.
happy little tree.
And a little spirit guide coming out of the temple.
Yeah.
And look, we just make some amethysts at the bottom of this pond.
He would never say amethyst.
Yeah, he would.
I don't think back then
Nobody
anybody
say it
knew
now.
about amethyst.
Why are you talking about him as if he's not here anymore?
Okay.
Here's some spirit shout outs. All right. There is someone here also who was always talking about Mount Everest. Like they had pictures of Mount Everest or had books about Mount Everest.
You're talking too loud.
And I'm now going back into the quiet mode. They either wanted to always or dreamt of climbing Mount Everest, but there's a particular mention of Mount Everest as the key here. Thank you. And the third name is Philippe. It's connected to one of you. Philippe is connected to one of you. All right, those are the three.
Possible spirit shout out.
Already we have a spirit shout out from
Erica's trying
Ms.
to do
Erica.
ASMR from where she's sitting.
But
I don't think you
Erica,
guys-
you'll have to speak a little bit
Erica will
louder.
be the only one yelling.
Okay. Paul has a good friend named Francis, whose
Yes.
dad passed over, who also had the same name.
Thank you. So, Paul, this message is for your friend and from his dad. That's why the name Fran or Francis kept coming through. And if he's with you there right now, hi to the friend. Or you just send him a text that his dad is doing well and knew that one of you was going to be watching tonight. And he's extending both of his arms. Maybe he had very long arms the way that he's showing me, but he's extending his arms into a beautiful embrace of your friend. And he took this opportunity, being the fiery spirit that he is, to jump to the front of the line in this spirit shout out reading. So Paul, please deliver the message that Francis Sr. is doing well, happy, healed, and whole. All right.
All right. Are you ready for your questions?
I am. Let's go to the next one.
Okay. Ciara Jade.
Hi, Ciara.
Do my spirit guides have a message for me?
They do. Okay, look, I need to go right back to about, I have to say, 2.25 years ago. So what would that be? 2 years ago would be June of 2022, and a quarter would be 3 months before that. So March of 2022 was where a cycle began. It is where I feel that something was coming off of its hinges. So, when a door comes off of its hinges, what that represents is that there was a disruption, that something came loose, that something that seemed to be solid no longer seemed that solid, or something that was reliable no longer seemed that reliable. Okay. Now, what's very important for you, what are you doing?
I'm trying to get right.
Oh, no, don't do that, because you're going to mess up my flow here. Okay. So, yeah. That's life with the psychic, guys. Okay. Now, going back to what I was saying, you have a very, very important task ahead of you right now. And that task is where you are very clearly, I want to say, delineating for yourself what is permissible and no longer permissible for you. Meaning, not that you have to be angry about it. Some people say, I'm going to draw the line and I'm going to be, there's kind of a force behind it. It's not like that. It's you just getting very organized within yourself without any drama and saying, this is where I say no. This is where I'm able to tell people, don't call me for this amount of time because I will be in my own world creating, or I won't be available for 2 weeks because I'm busy doing that. And being able to be very upfront in your communication, that's the number one thing. And by the way, the guide that is working with you is Morse, like Morse, Samuel Morse, Morse. He often comes through in my channelings a couple of times a year, and it's always about communication. So that's your message for you. Also, I see a very, very tall ship that you used to be on in a past life with very high masts, and your job was actually to climb up there and adjust the sails. You were a young man, probably doing this at like 13 or 14, very skinny, very light. That's who they needed to climb up there. Doesn't seem like very big voyages, but not like crossing the ocean, but smaller voyages, and you did that. I don't know why I'm supposed to tell you that, but I'm supposed to tell you. Okay.
So this is Sierra.
Sierra.
What's interesting is she is 15.
She's 15. Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
So that past life you said was about age.
This is about 14 or 15. Yeah. Okay. That was your life, Sarah. There's one more message for you, because I asked, why did they show me that lifetime? Balance. You had excellent balance. So anything you can do in this lifetime or right now, balance could be physical things like yoga, which is great for balance, but it could be learning how to check your posture and walk in a straight line. Believe it or not, most people can't really do that. And it's about you being straightly, again, delineating your life, organizing it right now. Okay.
She said she likes to climb stuff all the time.
You like to climb stuff all the time. Well, you're still doing it all these years later. Please don't do it on the mast of a ship, though. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Let's go to the next question.
I'm slowly getting to the edge of not being able to talk like this anymore.
I'm going to keep going.
You're going to keep going while I not.
Just for a few more minutes.
Let's do one more reading like this.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. So when we raise our volume, we might blow everybody's ears out.
I'll back up.
Miss Juliana.
Hello, Miss Juliana.
Question.
Yes.
What happened to the arm of my adopted tripod male cat, Fudgy? He was caught via food trap in the wild, and his arm was already in half. I think that's what is the
All
question.
right. What is the word tripod referring to?
3 legs.
And that is married life for you.
Okay, let me read.
Is that the name of a cat?
Let me read the question again. Should we get more information? Yes, I think we should.
I think the question is they wanted to understand what happened to their cat. Like they found.
And tripod is the name of the cat?
No,
No, the cat's name is Fudgy.
And why is the word tripod being
because he
mentioned?
has 3.
He's missing a leg.
You did not go there. You called your cat a tripod because there's
Maybe
missing a
that's
leg?
what they call him.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the official.
That's what I'm asking. Is his name Tripod or is his name Fudgy?
No, it's Fudgy. The cat-
Fudgy the tripod cat.
Yes.
Well, you got a great new idea for a great animated show now. Fudgy the tripod cat. And the question is, Fudgy got caught in an animal trap, but his arm.
He was already a tripod before he got caught in the
And why did he?
Yes.
Is that the question?
No, the question is, what happened to the arm of my adopted tribe. I think we need more.
Okay.
I think we
Thanks
need
for
more.
picking that question, though.
That's her second question. Okay, we need more information on this question. Go into more detail, please. Yeah.
Okay, how about we just
So
pick some
let's
like
go.
ones that questions you understand first
Maria
before you give them to me.
Serrano.
That would be great. Thank you.
I want to make sure my son will be okay, hoping my deceased brother Jose Angel Perez is watching over him. Is he?
Okay, read that again.
Okay.
Do you want me to translate?
If he,
Because the wording is a bit
Oh,
strange,
sure.
but the question, she has a brother on
What's
the
her
other
name?
side.
Mhm.
Her name is Maria.
Mhm.
Her brother is Jose
Okay.
Angel. And she wants to know if her brother is watching over her son, because she's very concerned over her son.
Well, Maria, I want to talk to you about how this works on the other side. All of us have ancestors and loved ones watching over us on the other side. There are things they are allowed to do and things they are not allowed to do to help us. Some of the experiences, they are not allowed to interfere. I lost most of my family, almost all the members of my family. I know they're watching over me, but I've had plenty of stuff happen to me after they crossed over. And I thought, Mom, Dad, how could you let this happen to me? Where were they? Well, they were there, but they have to allow me to go through my growth experiences, as painful and as scary as they may have been to other people around me. So please understand that I want to help you to shift your understanding right now. Please shift into this way. Why? Because you will have more peace and you will have a better understanding of how it works. So yes, of course your brother is watching over, but he is not allowed to interfere to make sure that your son is okay, because your son has his own destiny that he has to experience through life's ups and downs and pain and tragedies, and also pleasure and triumph, all good things and bad things, for him to be on his way. So as far as the message goes, now I don't know whether you want me to give a message about your son. I would need to know your son's name and age so I can tune into him. But as far as Jose Angel is, let me give a moment for that. He's talking about immediately the energy is coming through. He's talking about the month of November as being special. So he's putting a heart around that. He is also talking about you and the flowers, and if you are you particularly interested in flowers? We all like flowers, but this is a different kind of message coming through. Also, there's someone he is mentioning, your brother, who had problems with the stomach. So this could, maybe somebody had growth or a tumor in their stomach. Maybe somebody had something was removed from the stomach area or the intestines. He's talking about that person. Listen, your son, whatever issues that your son is having is because of his extreme sensitivity. And I also see the challenge here with your son is the relationship to the father.
His name is Damani, and he's 29.
Damani's relationship to the father. And this is where the pain or the self-destructive energy began. So of course he has to actually seek help, but some people, they have to go more further into hitting rock bottom before they feel it's time to really make a new path. Okay. But bless you guys.
Okay. Ready for your next one?
Yes.
Okay. Silver.
Hi,
Riz. I met my soulmate. We ended things this year, but somehow still I feel deeply connected, like we're inexplicably destined. Is this all in my head, like a limerance, or is there something deeper between us?
I don't know what the word limerance means.
Looked it up, and it means a state of involuntary infatuation or obsession with another person that can be similar to
you
other
taught me
experiences.
something today with that word.
I've
Thank
never
you.
heard that one
Limerance. All right. What is the first name of this person? Remember, guys, you have to, if you're going to mention another person, I need the first name.
Okay, so Silver, please give us the first name, and we're going to go to the next question.
Thank you.
Okay, Lydia Green.
Hi, Lydia.
How do I improve my... just bumped me off here. How do I improve my intuition and psychic abilities?
Okay, number one thing to remember when you are trying to improve your psychic abilities is there's a very fine line between trying and allowing. So, of course, when we sit down to meditate, because the key to developing psychic senses is our exercises and meditation. There's no other way to do it. But underneath the exercises and the technique that you should implement, underneath that is that you have to become relaxed but also focused. So I'm going to say a couple of things that are, at first, maybe won't make sense to you, but over time you will understand. There has to be a focused unfocusing. It means that you are present and aware, but you are not looking for anything, and you also are not rejecting anything. So it's a true state of openness. This is where the practice is. Also, learning how to understand your spirit guide's vocabulary. Every spirit guide that works with people has a particular way of speaking to that person. Sometimes they'll speak in symbols, colors, tastes, sounds. My spirit guides used to show me television shows, yes, and movies that I used to watch when I was a kid, which I used to memorize all of the dialogue and the plots, and I used to love certain shows. And because that was programmed into me as a kid, my spirit guides would bring up certain episodes or movies or scenes or characters and put them in my mind when I was giving a reading. So that when I was giving a reading and someone asked me about a situation, they immediately would show me that TV show or movie that was similar, and what happened here was what was going to happen there. That's literally how it started happening for me. And it still happens once in a while like that for me. So you have to learn what is the vocabulary that your spirit guides are working with you. Some people, they have to take a nap in the middle of the afternoon to relax. So you have to find out what brings you into a state of relaxation. And that's the number one way. And then it's practice, practice, practice. And practice makes less imperfect, is what I like to say. So keep at it. I try to teach as much as I can here. There's other videos that I have here on this channel that will help you. And always happy to answer a question if you leave it in the comments. I'll get back to you. Thank you.
Okay. Tanya C.E.
Hi, Tanya C.E.
Intuitive and psychic question.
Yeah.
We have been on a roller coaster with our lives, business, financial, home, etc. My intuition has led us to a new direction, and I need confirmation that this is the right direction, as I am still worried.
Remember something. If you're saying roller coaster, that means that there are ups. Let's first acknowledge that. You said roller coaster. Let's talk about the ups. What was the feeling that you had at the up? I'm going to tell you what the feeling you had was. Whether you say joy or whether you say happiness or whether you say relief, there's something underneath that that's more important. When you were at that peak of the roller coaster that you would consider the up, the high point, you felt more like yourself. When you are in the low point of the roller coaster and you're going down, it doesn't feel like you. You feel out of sorts. You feel out of whack. You feel disjointed. You feel not aligned, because that's not you. You have to learn how to feel like yourself in the dip, the same way you feel at the peak. This is where the mastery comes in. It's no joke. It's why, unfortunately, so many of us don't succeed the way we want to. Look around in the world. That's really the case. We only know a few who succeed the way they would really ideally like to. And that's why they would call this the formula. It's not something technical. It's something that it's experiential, that you have to do it with your emotions. So my best psychic guidance for you right now is for you to grab a hold of yourselves psychically, and I think that you are, because the moment you said the words new direction, I felt lit up. I felt like myself. I felt I was going to the top of the roller coaster. And by the way, once you get over the top, the fun part is the way down. The anxious part is on the way up. The new direction is correct as long as it is not as hands-on. That's what my guides are saying. It shouldn't be so manual, requiring less energy, but more, in a sense, more quantity. I mean, it's reaching out further. This is how they're showing me the energy is going. You are onto something. And for some reason, they keep saying up north with you. Is there a city north of you, or is there something up north that is relevant to this? I'd love to know. Thank you. Got some spirit shout-outs, if you'd like to know. This is, by the way, any spirit shout-outs that have returned yet?
Not yet.
Okay. This name is Rod or Rodney. Passed on, I believe passed on, because he's coming through this side on me, talking about that. And 6th of August is a date. This is a separate one. August 6th, if that's connected to you, please, whether that's the anniversary, birthday, or date of passing. Not the 5th, not the 7th, the 6th. It's very specific, please. Thank you. And 3rd, in the last day or two, did one of you you were working on some, maybe it's a stereo, but something, maybe it's in your car, where the dial came off? One of your spirit guides is giving me this message. You were doing something, and the round thing, whatever you're turning the thing with, came off. Maybe it was on the stove. Maybe it was I don't know what it was. It's an appliance. And it actually came off. And you're like, how did that happen? If that's you, please let me know.
Okay. So Silver got back to us.
Thank you, Silver.
So the name of the person that she would like to understand more about this deeper connection, his name is Austin.
Okay. Austin and Silver. Thank you. And the question is this... Well,
Like,
you
what
said
type-
my soulmate. It's interesting, Silver, you had said I met my soulmate. You have many soulmates. Soulmates can be many. Twin flames, what they call twin flames, are one. So, yes, I feel that word is appropriate, soulmate, because there is something... You're plugged in. I'll tell you something. It's very electric, this connection, but it's also like this. It's butting heads long term.
She should get a astrology reading from Erica.
You should get an astrology reading. It will help you make sense of that. Erica would be happy to do that for you. But I will say this. As far as what I feel is beautiful about...
Silver is female.
I assume it's Silver.
We don't know.
Female. It could be male.
Anymore,
but
or
either way, Silver,
fluid.
what I feel is that, first of all, I just feel a lot of smiles. I feel a lot of joy. I feel a lot of... The connection here was one of pure joy. The real connection. Now, where it goes, not quite done. That's your answer. It's not quite done. But sometimes things are... even after you make something, you have to let it rest. And even if it's a meal, you ever watch those cooking shows? They're like, okay, let it rest now. That's where I learned it for the first time. Like, let the food rest. And it's true. Things happen. Sometimes for the computer to fix itself, you have to shut it off, unplug it, do a hard shutdown, and close the laptop and leave it for a few days. And things tend to reset. But I will also say this. On the bad side, I do sense that the complete truths were not told here by the parties involved. Okay. Any spirit shout-outs?
Yes.
I knew something was happening.
Yes.
All right. Guess what, honey? I'm going to start going back to this volume. Is that all right?
Sure.
All right. Maybe we'll find a happy medium, no pun intended. Okay.
First of all, Maria Serrano wanted to say just want to thank you both
Sure.
The message is so on point. Jose's birthday is the month of November.
Thank you.
The message relieved me from believing I'm 100% at fault as to why my son is the way he is.
Yes, let's blame the dad too. Had to do it, Maria. Sorry.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
It's a Wild West up in here.
It's a wild night.
Okay.
Okay, I got some dials.
You got some
In
dials.
the car.
Now, I don't know where it was.
Okay, I just want to check.
Okay.
So Colleen had the dial come off her dryer.
Yes.
But then also Kelly Duff also had the dial come off
The dryer.
the dryer.
Colleen and Kelly?
Colleen and
Sounds like the Irish connection going on here.
Colleen and Kelly had the
Colleen, maybe I should channel Kevin the Leprechaun for them. I actually do channel a leprechaun spirit guide energy. Leprechauns are actual spirit guide energies. Mythical creatures exist in dimensions that are connected to this dimension. And so when people have seen them, and yes, they have seen them, and even I have seen fairies, and I even saw them in Ireland when I went a few times, we've been there. They exist interdimensionally. So there's little bleed throughs that happen, and that's why people have seen them. So they're not actually living in the physical tree on the earth. They're living in a dimensional space that is in that location. More on that another time. But okay, it was the dryer one. Which one was the dryer?
Well, they both were. Colleen and Kelly both said that the
I'm just
dial-
killing two birds with one stone. Yes?
I'm staying out of it.
I'm going to leave my hand here like this because it's just waiting for a response.
I'm staying out of it.
Okay.
You won't do my ASMR episode.
Okay, how about I do it for this reading? I'll drop back down to ASMR. Kelly and Colleen, this message is for the both of you. Look, I like to make puns, like earlier I said happy medium, in case you got it, you didn't get it, me being the happy medium. Dialing it in. That's what the message is about. I saw it come off of something you're turning. It's also about knowing how to dial in your own power. So being sensitive in that moment to knowing how much energy you're outputting to turn that dial, and suddenly you didn't realize that you have more power flowing through you than you realize. So there are certain practices that you can do to slow down and to drop in and draw up the energy from your root chakra up through all of your spine, through your spine and the chakras. We call this Kundalini energy. Kundalini yoga, it's in every city now, so no excuses. You can go take a Kundalini class, both of you. I highly suggest it. And learn that to draw up energy through the root chakra. This is about you coming into your physical power and knowing your strength. Okay.
Guess what?
Yeah.
I have a message related to that.
Please.
So when you sing,
Yeah.
it's easier to sing loud
Yeah.
than to be controlled and softer.
Much more difficult.
And takes more energy to be softer.
Now, we're not talking about
and more
breathy
controlled.
singing.
No.
We're talking about pure tone energy. So breathy would be like, you're singing like this. But pure tone is the way that I'm speaking now, which is you can hear the tone within it. Now, if you can sing at this volume, it shows that you have actual control over your voice.
That's a very spiritual.
Yes. Belting is about support. When you sing and you set your support deep within your diaphragm of your body, it's not necessarily about control the same way.
Well, when you talked about drawing up the Kundalini energy,
Yes.
I started to think about singing.
Yes.
Because that feeling of drawing up a controlled field of energy in order to sing.
I like your watch. I just noticed that you're wearing it now.
Yeah, that's the one I got in Tokyo.
I got you this watch.
The first time
Our
we went.
first trip to Tokyo.
Yeah. I have more.
I can't believe you found it. Question for you. Being a Taurus, you're ruled by the throat.
Yes.
I've noticed a lot of your favorite singers are Tauruses.
Yep.
And a lot of great singers are Tauruses.
Yep.
They are ruled by the throat. So you definitely know about that.
I do know about that. And one day I will master my voice myself and I will be an authentic, I guess, a real singer.
Yeah.
Professional. Not professional, but like somebody who
You
can
definitely
actually
have music
sing.
flowing through. The first time I heard you sing, you had music flowing through you. So it's there. Okay, what else we got?
Okay, so we have Okay, so Gail Brown, welcome. Your first time here. We are practicing a little bit of ASMR mixed in with different volumes. We're testing out different volumes of speech to see how it affects you guys. Because usually we talk really loud.
Right.
So, hi guys. This is my first time here. I'd like to know who my guides are, and will I get out of my financial debts anytime soon?
Gail is the name?
The name is Gail Brown.
Hi, Gail Brown. I'm Riz MIRZA, and I'm here to talk to you about your psychic powers. Wow, I didn't even mean to say that, but it came through. Gail, do you have an inclination towards intuition and psychic ability?
By the way, you're getting a lot of shout outs for your flower power shirt.
Oh, word. Thank you, guys.
You even had one compliment that said, not too many men can pull that off. Gang, gang.
Thank you, but I got a woman who pulls it off. Okay, anyway.
Wait, was that rated R?
Yes, for Riz.
He just said it rated R. What about their children?
She said, not many men can pull it off. I said, yeah, but I got a woman who pulls it off right here. See?
Well, that can be taken different ways.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Sexy time. Okay. All right. Let me talk about this with Gail, because the first thing I want to say is you have guys, you have banker guides. No one talks about this.
The banker guides?
Banker guides. Okay? You have spirit guides that work on a team. This is how I've seen it. I'm sharing with you how I have seen it as a medium, that there are guides who are assigned to different parts of your life. Some work on your physical health. The others are there to help you in terms of communication, so on and so forth. Just like you have different teachers in high school. And then you have your homeroom teacher or the principal. That's like your gatekeeper. Okay? So your banker guides are the ones who are helping you to make money, how you handle money, how you understand money as energy. I'm going to just tell you very quickly. So what you do with your banker guides, guys. Number one, what's the color for spirit guides in abundance? Oh, it's always green. Not because money is green, but because nature is green. Okay. So what I'd like for you to do, Gail, is do a series of, go back to some of the basics of affirmations. And remember something about affirmations. When affirmations say, I am abundant, I am healthy, I don't no longer allow this in my life, I am this, I am that. Remember something, when you're doing the affirmations, you're doing it because you don't believe that. So the affirmations are to get that energy going. So you don't need to feel like a fraud that you're doing these affirmations, but you don't really believe them. You will eventually believe them. That's why they're like training wheels, okay? And eventually you start to understand the energy of it, because especially I want to share something with you, Gail, and I'm going to go into detail with you because I don't want to just give you the answer of when I see the abundance coming. I will get to that, but I'm going to torture you with spiritual teachings first, okay? So what you're trying to do, what you're wanting to do is learn, number one, that most of the time, this one is a tough pill to swallow. That your money situation usually represents some core beliefs that you have that have been running for a long time. And then from those core beliefs, you make choices, okay? It's not about your choices. We all make good ones and bad ones, left ones and right ones, but it's about beliefs that we have. Just like we have beliefs about whether we're not worthy to be loved and we never end up having a relationship. The same thing applies to money. So there's an old saying, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Oh, I always hated that statement, but I understood the energy message behind it was that if you know something, you start to expect it and have more. And that can also be applied to when you're disappointed. So this is where self-mastery comes in, is we're learning how to redirect our energy into the newly forming beliefs, Gail. The newly forming beliefs, we can begin to activate that and kickstart that through affirmation work. And I highly recommend you get into affirmation work. Look into what is called scripting or setting those intentions. Eventually you get there. Now, another way that I want to say this for you is what I want to say to you about this. She had two questions. One was about the financial situation. What was the first aspect of the question?
Who their guides guides.
Gail.
Thank you. So it was the banker guides I wanted to talk to you about. Okay, so the banker guides are here. You have a banker guide by the name of Astra, A-S-T-R-A. It's kind of a very spacey name, but that's the name. That's the name I hear, Astra. See, the banker guide is not like, a pen behind the ear and typing away on the computer. It's about spreading that energy. What I would do for you, what I would say, is you need to have a day. That's what Astra's saying. Pick a day where you pamper yourself and do a little bit of splurging on yourself with no regrets, no second guessing it, and see if you can allow yourself to feel good there. If you can learn how to feel more than 50% good about splurging on yourself at a time where you don't feel you deserve it, then you are going to move the energy forward and it's going to get better. That way you're going to pick up speed and momentum. As far as when I see this getting better for you, literally I see this is very soon. I see the summer as being better. So 2 months is what? More towards mid-September, end of September, I see this financial situation much better. Long answer to a short question, but that's the way it goes.
Well,
Right.
I picked a question for myself because you have a long list of questions and there's several of them that I can pick and choose here.
Let's do some, shorter ones.
Yeah, so this one I'd like to answer. So Colleen is asking,
Yes.
I wonder if Kundalini yoga is needed if you have a cosmic frequency surging through you hours at a time or hours a day.
Because
But I was going to answer it.
Oh,
but
sorry.
if you want to answer it.
no,
okay.
you go for it.
So, doing Kundalini yoga to solve, quote unquote, solve this problem is actually kind of too on the nose. It's actually not actually the direction I would suggest you go in. It's kind of the other direction. I would utilize your cosmic energy through first creativity, second healing modalities. So I'll talk about the creativity and you talk about the healing modalities.
Okay.
Okay. So the creativity part is take a paintbrush and start painting, start singing, redecorate your house, do anything that's different that brings new color, new energy, new feeling in your environment, something creative, just anything. And you could just think of anything creative, anything that's using your artistic abilities. You'd be surprised that that's where it wants to flow out. Because I know you think at first it has to be like spiritual. It is spiritual to be creative, but you know what I mean, because people have things categorized. So as
Right.
far as healing modalities, she can look into when you have that much energy surging through you, what would you suggest? Also, creativity is singing.
You have to get a hold of this energy, okay? Because you can't just, if you're having a lot of energy surging through you, how do I put this in this way? You don't want this energy to become that you're just starting to really be preoccupied with this energy and you're becoming so fascinated mentally with this energy for a long period of time and you just keep talking about this energy but you're not doing anything with it. For me, it means that you're just something you're getting indulgent. Because if we are going to talk about how to share energy in a positive way, then that falls under the category of healing energy being sent out to people or into creativity. And I take that very seriously. I take that the most serious that I take anything in this world is being very cognizant of that you are serving something to someone and you are serving someone with that energy. Now, either you're going to use this energy to serve yourself, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you make a meal for yourself, you're serving yourself. If you work out, you're serving yourself, and that makes a better version of you that you can then also interact with the rest of the planet in a positive, constructive, sharing way. So if this is a real question of what to do with this energy, and the question really was how to navigate or how to control it, or is Kundalini good or not?
She was asking if she should do Kundalini yoga.
I think Kundalini yoga helps you to grab a hold of this energy. Now,
But it lends itself to going back into obsession. That's why I don't suggest it.
That can happen, but you're going to have to go extreme left and right to figure out where the center is.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think Kundalini energy is great for people who have a lack of energy. I mean, Kundalini yoga is for people who are not feeling their energy, right? Like they get it activated.
It's an interesting take because we're still talking about the same thing. I think that we're both approaching it just from, we're touching the elephant at the trunk or the tail.
I bet nobody really realized that you could become obsessed with surging cosmic energy.
I see it most of the time. Most of the time,
you can get drunk on it.
In the spiritual community, the quote-unquote spiritual
Erica,
community.
Can you come get Rocket?
That's what I see most of the time. Yeah. Is they're so into it, and they're very proud to say, I can't even go into those spaces. My energy is too sensitive, and they talk about it so much that their life becomes a very small list of things they can eat, a small list of activities they can do, a small list of people they can be around, or or even cities or countries they can go to.
Yeah.
And for me, that is...
It also starts turning into...
that's not spiritual to me. It's just not.
Well, let's define spirituality. First of all, spirituality is everything. But we're using it in the definition. When you say it that way, I want to clarify. You're using it in the sense that it is, most people categorize or compartmentalize what the word spiritual means.
Yeah.
And that usually means that they're like on a path and that they have something separate from ordinary everyday life.
Right.
So we're using it in that terminology that most people use it in. It's not the terminology when Riz and I are talking to each other, we don't speak like that.
Can I tell you what my definition of spirituality is?
Everything is spiritual to us.
So yes. So when you are spiritual, number one is that you're not getting hooked on making things wrong. There will be things you disagree with, for sure. And you'll say that's wrong for that to happen. I know wrong is a weird word to me because there's a lot of things in creation that are painful but are part of that process. But spiritual meaning that for yourself, what spiritual mean is that you are at peace in all experiences, whether they are at the top of the roller coaster, at the bottom of the roller coaster, and in the middle, you're at peace with that.
Well, spirituality.
So you're not in resistance. To me, that's spirituality. Is you're not in resistance to what is.
It's a conscious. You're consciously looking at life as I created my life. Therefore, I am not at odds with what's positive and negative. The animals are just.
Poofy's agreeing.
Do you want to open the gate for her or something? I don't know. They're going.
Why don't you drop her over here so
charts.
I can hold her?
Because she has Rocket right now, but now Poofy, who usually is MIA,
she showed up.
The giant black cat that we have. Let's see.
Just put her down there and see if she comes over here.
Erica's bringing her in. She wants in.
She's so heavy. Come here. Come here. Let's see if she comes here. Okay, let's go to some more questions, guys.
Okay, we can go on and on and on.
Let's go.
Oh,
Got any spirit shadow
ASMR is over.
Okay. What is it?
ASMR is over.
That's right.
Here's my Poofy. Colleen did say thank you so much. I do a lot of healing, so that makes sense.
Okay, great.
The Kundalini.
Beautiful.
Okay, Dawn has a question. In our past lives video, we spoke about mirror work. Could we explain the process a little?
Yes, can you do that?
Yeah, I mean, there's different forms of mirror work. So first, let's talk about the easy mirror work. Easy mirror work is that you are in a sacred medicine journey. Like in our case, we use psilocybin in that way. So it's so much easier because when you look in the mirror, the psilocybin is doing all of it for you. You literally are seeing your faces change and you're seeing different past lives and you don't have to think about it. You don't have to try to focus, nothing. It's just happening. So that's the easiest, fastest way to do mirror work. But if you want to do mirror work on your own without that, there's other things people can take. Some people do cacao ceremonies and they do.
Or nothing at all.
Or nothing at all. But to do nothing at all in mirror work, you guys, it takes time.
It's almost
it's hard because you're really looking at the temporal being. You're looking at the 3D version of yourself. Right. So you're just staring in your eyes and you're like, but you can do it if you stay very focused. And then it's called relaxed focused, right? So you're focusing in on your eyes and then you pull your eyes back, kind of like those posters they used to have in high school.
The 3D
they used to
art.
Pass around where there was an image inside of the poster and you couldn't tell.
That's a great example of focused, unfocused. I think whoever I was talking to earlier about this, those 3D computer generated art, they called it back then. You know what I'm talking about? It had all these diagonal and squiggly lines, and then magic eye, and if you stare into it, it suddenly becomes 3D.
And there was only like 3 people in the class that could see it, and it was always me, and it was always you.
I could always do it.
Course.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's kind of like the same idea of mirror work. So you're looking at yourself in the eyes, quiet place, you don't have any distractions.
Yes.
And then you remove your focus. And you go kind of into a meditative state. So you go within and you kind of open your focus, your focus of your lens, your aperture in your eye like opens. And then you start to see if you can see any shape shifting going on.
Right.
The more you do sacred medicine journeys, the easier this becomes, even when you're not journeying. But for somebody who is kind of doing it cold, I mean, it takes a lot of practice, but you could do it. The purpose of mirror work, there's several reasons. I'm sure everybody has maybe their own list, but one of them is, from the most base note, is to have a relationship with yourself without judgment. So you can start to look at your avatar.
That's
yeah.
easy.
I mean, just accept yourself. Okay. Just accept your avatar. That's one. 2 is to see if you can see past lives, and if you can see your face starting to morph, or you start to see like different beings inside of your face. I mean, it's a little bit more challenging, but you can do it, and some people have more success at it than others. So that's the mirror work. Okay, so let's go to the next question.
All right, questions.
Okay, so
Say hi to Poof, everybody.
She's very happy.
She's purring.
Okay, so Kayla,
Hi, Kayla.
Khayla, Bronx section, Kingsbridge area. Any messages for me would be helpful and much appreciated. I pray a lot to Archangel Gabriel and speak consistently to Spirit. And before you answer, I told you this was going to happen, so I have to go take a bathroom break, and I'll be right back.
Okay. So, Kayla, are you just saying you're from Kingsbridge because I'm from Kingsbridge? Are you really from Kingsbridge in the Bronx? That's awesome that you are. Okay. You know where Bailey Avenue is? That's where I grew up. Kingsbridge Road, right? Where Fordham and Kingsbridge begin or end, depending on where you're from. And what was her question?
The question was just any messages would be really helpful and much appreciated.
And it's Kayla.
Yes.
Well, I want to say a couple of things here. First of all, your guides are showing me that you're a person that really knows how to carry a heavy load. And not many of us do. Many of us struggle and suffer, and you have that internal strength. What do I mean by carry the heavy load, right? Of course, I'm not speaking physically. I'm speaking about accepting things about your immediate environment through friends and family that you have had to just accept. And that in one way made you mature, which is good. But on the other hand, it's the part of you that maybe got a little too much in your masculine energy. We call that yang energy. So that's the protector, the builder, the analyzer. And your true self, and I like to say the word true self because this is what I feel when I talk to a person. I feel their true selves, is much more along the lines of magical. I mean, Merlin is your guide. It's all about that. You should watch those movies like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and all those. Rewatch them. You need to go more into the world of magic again. And the center of all of those movies, especially movies like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, why I find them to be very different and profound and not, I don't know, like, there's a lot of fantasy movies that are very unbelievable. They're not rooted in real themes. And those are rooted in real themes because, hi. Oh, goodness, cats. Okay, so what the themes that it's rooted in is friendship, love, believing in yourself, and how that creates the magic. It's a part of you that maybe grew up a little too much. It doesn't mean that I want you to be irresponsible, that you say, oh, well, I have to be responsible. You can be responsible. You have to keep the kid alive. This is the big message. And I think that's why Merlin is working with you. Merlin, the wizard spirit guide, has a very playful energy. Hey, sweetie. What are you mad about? I pull my cat's tails. Look at, she's going to shake the camera.
Oh my god.
Okay, you want to grab her? Okay. So that's it. That's the message there. Want to ask one more question? Let's take somebody else before you grab the cat.
So Aaron says, Riz, do you have any insight as to why I feel resistance to completing channeling courses? I'm
Yes.
drawn to them and to psychic development, but it's like I start eagerly and then just stop.
Welcome to the club, Aaron. I was not a good student. I don't think I was ever a good student at anything that was presented to me by a teacher. I feel I couldn't do it, whether it was the guitar or it was drums or it was art. And I had a natural gift for all of these things and channeling, but I couldn't sit there and listen. So don't worry, you came to the right place. It just means that you're a maverick, you're a disruptor, you're a visionary in the making, because you have to go your own way. I would like to give you some tips. Channeling is all about being in your, interestingly enough, it is about being in your feminine. So whether you're a man or a woman or however you identify, you still have to be in the yin energy, which is the fluid, the creative, the receptive, the intuitive, the psychic, the nurturing. That's the yin energy. So you have to be, it sounds like you're here more to do personal study. I think you've got the basics. If you are feeling like you're being able to allow. Now, allowing is what channeling is all about. There are people who are trance channels like myself who completely leave their body. And what we mean by leaving the body is that my personality essence, my consciousness, known as to me as Riz, takes a back seat and allows the spirit guide to drive the car. Okay, that's what that means. Now, some people channel and stay in their body and they write, they do automatic writing, or they just repeat what the spirit guides say. Okay? Now, with you, I would say do anything that helps you allow more. So that could be, maybe you should learn to do a cartwheel. Not kidding. I don't kid about things like that. Cartwheel. Why? Because you have to allow your body to flow. Let's say that you physically can't do that. Anything that allows you to do that. Maybe you need to learn how to let a person. Oh, there's an interesting thing. I had learned something way back 15 years ago that was called Watsu. Watsu was this Japanese technique modality where you get in a swimming pool and two people are there and one person is floating on their back, another person is holding them like this, and that person allows you to move them. It's an exercise in surrender. It's a beautiful thing. Look it up. I'm not an expert in Watsu. There's probably more to it. I just learned a little bit of it, but it stuck with me, that feeling of letting something else move you. That's what channeling is.
I actually held you in the pool and did Watsu.
That's right.
Myself.
That's right.
Are we at Kelly now? Okay. Next question. Kelly?
Yeah.
My son Hugo, he's 10, has been saying often these days that he's afraid of dying, wondering if the guides have any messages for him or for me that may help him.
How old is Hugo now? Does she say? He's 10?
Yeah.
So a few things are going to help you. Watch a show. You can find it on YouTube. The network is called LMN. There's a show called The Ghost Inside My Child. Scary name, but it's not a scary show. It's simply about children who remember their past lives. It is in the same arena of what you're talking about. Now, two things. There's plenty of stuff to make a person feel afraid of dying in the way the world is right now, with crime and chaos and wars and explosions and
GTA.
Whatever. Yeah, GTA.
The different
the video games.
Oh my God.
No, it could be true, right?
Yeah.
So there's this visceral experience with the idea of death. Okay, that's one thing. I don't want you to just start monitoring everything and hiding things away from your kids, because they're eventually going to find it anyway. It really is about, number one, what do you feel about death? What do you feel about it? And what is being relayed subconsciously or in conversation for the last 10 years around him? Number two, he could simply be recalling a past life. Like I say, he simply could be recalling a past life.
Oh, is that all?
He could be. In the psychic world, we say simply with this situation. He could be recalling a past life subconsciously where he had a lifetime where he did die around 9 or 10 years old, and part of him is receiving that. You're going to have to do more, is the word due diligence or research? I don't know, in this area about how to, he also may have some psychic abilities that will be birthed.
I'd like to add something to that
Please.
list. Ask him what exactly is he afraid of specifically. So it could be something that he actually picked up or heard, like you said.
Right.
There's something that he has the wrong idea.
Yes.
But intuitively, what I'm picking up on is past life. I think this is definitely, he's really feeling, maybe in a past life, he died young. And he's passing the marker of that timeline.
That's the word I was looking for. Passing he might have even started feeling that on the exact date of when he had that lifetime.
Yeah. We could do a whole show just on that, by the way.
Okay.
Okay. So first timer, my name is Sandra. I'm looking to connect with Keith, who passed on July 11th, 2005.
Keith, who passed on July 11th, 2005. And Sandra is asking this. I'll ask my guides if there's something for me to look into here. Did you physically live close to this person? I'll tell you why. I see these two buildings that are close together, and I don't know what I'm referring to. And I also... So Sandra, I may be connecting to you, and these messages may be about you, or I'm not sure if they're about Keith. So I'll just tell you a couple of things that I'm seeing as I just jump into that feeling of that. Number one, what was happening to Keith mentally before he passed? I feel a focus on that. The other thing is... for some reason, I feel very distracted. Was this an accident? I don't feel, it's like mentally not paying attention is what I see here. Okay? Number two, is there a connection to manufacturing or factories or assembling things, either to you or to him? Because I want to make sure I'm in whose corner I'm in, yours or his, and I'm having some cross-pollination happening. And I see a house with a porch. Was there violence around him? Meaning, did he see a lot of that growing up? Also, do you have any of his possessions, like a camera or a phone? I saw camera first, but I guess maybe this is the phone. Please let me know about that. Also, there's a John connected here as well.
They're saying a few minutes away.
He lived a few minutes away. Okay.
And I said yes, and then they said he died in an accident.
He died in an accident. Thank you. Okay. That's what I was... So that's him. Okay. Needless to say, but I'll say it again, is yes, of course, he is fine and good. I have a funny question for you. Are you rearranging the furniture, or do you want to rearrange the furniture? Because he's like, you should rearrange the furniture. Remember I was talking about you lived close to each other? I don't know. He's seeing that you need to redecorate or rearrange. I'm trying to get him to talk about why I kept seeing I kept feeling the hit and the violence and all. I just didn't feel good. That's why I had to bring it up. And you confirmed that it was an accident. But was he distracted? See, I kept getting distraction before the passing. Light. Air. So there's somebody that he knew You know what a light airplane is? The ones that get pulled, gliders, is that what they're called?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who's connected to that? It's very specific and unusual, but he's showing this to me. Okay. I also see the desert. Thank you. Let me know.
Okay. I'm going to take the next one. It's from Donna.
Yes.
And the question is, what do you think or feel about deja vu? So deja vu, we've been talking to, it's kind of been a hot topic for us recently.
Yeah, I feel like we've
been talking about it a lot. I dropped a link in from our last episode that we did. We covered deja vu in our past life video. But deja vu basically means you're peering in. There's like a moment where you're having a bleed through from another timeline where you did the same thing before, but this time you crossed that threshold. So the cross, I guess you would say the cross section, instead of taking a right, you took a left. So you could have, let's say, I'm going to give a perfect example that's very simple to understand. So let's say you were invited to speak at a big conference and you had to stand on stage and speak. And let's say you have attempted to do that, and every time you got too scared, you got stage fright, or you canceled, or found a way to get sick or whatever, and you got out of it. And so this was, as a consciousness, as a soul, you have attempted to actually get past this barrier, this feeling of insecurity, or you had to, have a breakthrough in this area. So you keep attempting to do it. And so eventually, in this timeline where you're focused, you are in the middle of being invited and going through the process of going on stage. And all of a sudden, there's a quick little, like a flash that you've done this before. Everything's the same. The people are the same. The characters are the same. The building is the same. You're wearing the same clothes, and it's very real.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa, you're stopped because you actually see it. And I think you're supposed to see it. I think your higher self, because the match is there, your higher self wants to acknowledge that you are having a breakthrough in that moment, or you're doing something that you have never gone this far before with it. So you're having a breakthrough and a bleed through, and is confirmation. Suggestion is to take your time when you have a deja vu. In the past, what I used to do is I used to say, oh, cool, deja vu, and I just moved on. But now I take it more seriously, and now I stop everything I'm doing and I assess the situation quickly. What is the breakthrough I'm having here? What's the feelings I'm having that's led up to it? What feels new? What am I working on currently? What am I doing next? So I'm taking now more inventory and slowing things down, taking mental note. And I'm using deja vu as a part of my guidance system.
Oh,
That's really
I've never heard it put that way before. That last one was a mic drop. You use deja vu as your guidance system.
Now I got chills going all through my body.
Right.
That is
Excellent.
correct.
I'm definitely going to. Yeah. You got something for me over there?
No, I just got excited. By
Oh, she's doing double snaps over there. Like, I only expect that first spirit shout out confirmations.
Okay,
Right.
well, we have a question for you,
Sure.
my dear. Rain here, Rayne. I was wondering if I should focus on writing stories, starting a YouTube channel, or focus on a music career. Thank you so much. I'd really appreciate any guidance. Do them all.
No, well, yes, of course I feel you should do
that's
them all.
what I would
but
say.
there's an order to things. Number one, music is going to feed both of these other things, because with the music, what I feel is that you are strictly creating for yourself, meaning it is direct emotional connection through the lyrics, through the melodies, and you get to kind of play more. Whereas I feel with the YouTube, it's going to be kind of more calculated, as it should be, where you're trying to build something and create content for your viewers and figuring out who it is that you are. So it's like kind of not the same room to play. So I don't see three things. I do see two. Music, you just continue to write when you're not doing the YouTube, or you're not doing the other thing was writing stories, right? Yeah, I'm not feeling that one as much right now. I kind of want to say, I really picture you writing. Oh, this is interesting. I'm getting a vision of you like by a fireplace or candles, and it's more winter. That's when you should be writing. I want you to write more at the end of the year. And if you can do this, this would be great. At some point in the next year, which is from now to next June or whatever, if you can get away for a couple of days and maybe get an Airbnb that is like in the woods or in nature, maybe it's even overlooking a cliff and the ocean, and you gift that to yourself where you have alone time to write or just gather your thoughts. Sometimes people go away for these kinds of things and they don't end up writing, but what ends up happening is they end up quieting their minds and they end up recalibrating, and then they go home and they write a lot more. So allow this to happen. I'm just looking into she said the YouTube, right? Starting a YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one's going to be a real self-reflection growth opportunity for you, because you're going to kind of see yourself and hear yourself in ways that you didn't know that's how you were coming across. So you're going to find out if you have any kind of negative limiting beliefs on yourself or judgments. And hey, for that, it's good, because you can still improve and grow on that, being able to see where you would like to make improvements. But I would focus on that and the music right now, and stories for later on during kind of like the holiday season is when I see it. Okay, I got a spirit shout out for the name is Armand. I need to talk about the name Armand. Let me know. Thank you.
So there's an interesting conversation going on over here. I caught wind and I like it. I want to put my 2 cents. So there's a couple people who have experienced walking outside and feeling dead silence. And even when the cars pass by, they don't hear anything. Now, I don't think it's auditory, like in the sense that something's wrong with your hearing. A few people have experienced it. I actually think they're in a field, a UFO field, when there's a UFO overhead. And that's a field that they are over this magnetization. It's like a magnetizing, because they're cloaked and you have no idea how many are in the sky, how many above your house or on the street.
All the time. There are many anomalous areas or anomalies that happen where there are cloaked ships, where there is a great deal of spiritual presence. There's a portal. Mm-hmm. There are other words we can use, but basically something's going on that is more metaphysical than physical. So allow yourself. What I would say to you is, if this is of a concern to you, that's what I want to know. Are they concerned about it?
It doesn't seem so.
Okay. Yeah, that's what that is.
Somebody asked, do they have spirit guides around them? And I just wanted to say, we've talked about this before, and we won't go into it fully again because we have other videos to cover this. Your spirit guides never leave you. Your spirit guides are old friends. They've been with you from before time, before you even came to this planet, on other planetary systems. You're a part of this soul group. When you come to this planet and you're born, your spirit guide team is with you from day one. You're never alone. You're never without your spirit guides.
Yes.
And that's a conversation we can go into great detail, but we have a lot of proof, facts, channelings. So if you ask, do I have spirit guides with me? Yes, you do, always. The only thing you're really needing to know, beside who are they, and that's great because they can ask you and you can tune in, but really is, are you sensitive enough is the question to feel them, and can you silence your mind enough to get out of your that ticker tape that runs underneath the newscast that's constantly
that shows
going.
The stock market, all the other news events that are happening.
News events that are going on. Mm-hmm. So you have this nonstop ticker tape running in the background. So if you can pause that and be silent, you can actually start to pay attention to their actual. They kind of like, what is it? They nudge you. It's kind of like they
nudge you. They don't really do big dramatic interventions in your life, except for, you're about to get hit by a car and you feel somebody pull you back. And there have been many instances where people have physically felt a hand grab them. I have felt it. I felt it more than once in my life.
I want to tell you a story that was circumvented by a spirit guide where I tried to commit suicide. Big topic, just dropped it like that. Yes, no warning. I was 20.
Well, look.
Happens.
This is part of the spiritual path. You know how many people who have had spiritual awakenings were just ready to leave the planet?
So here's my story.
Yeah, talk about it.
I'll do it in 2 minutes. So I was 26. My dad suddenly had just died of cardiac arrest, suddenly, no warning. And he was my best friend. number one. And number two, I was in a custody battle with my ex-husband and my 3 kids at the time. And I was losing because he had an attorney and I couldn't afford one. And I didn't have a lot of family support and I was going through a lot of trauma and I was just going through it. I've told my story many times and that's another thing. But bottom line was I was in so much excruciating pain that I didn't want to live anymore. And I couldn't even, because he was keeping the kids from me, parental alienation. I was going through the ringer. I was going to court constantly and it was just a nightmare. And then my dad died on top of this. I'm an only child. There was very little support around me. So I was just absolutely at the end of my rope, completely devastated, didn't want to live anymore, was very serious about not wanting to live anymore. Ironically, I was driving at the time a 1976 Volvo, which are considered indestructible cars actually back then, you know. And I have a little side joke with myself, like I was trying to do, you know, commit suicide in a Volvo, which is kind of like the antithesis of like, because they're supposed to keep you safe. So I'm driving on a I guess you would call it an overpass, right? And to this day, I'm always nervous on those overpasses. So anyway, the overpass, I know exactly which freeway. Anyway, this overpass was very big and long and it curved and it was enough where I could see, and it was high enough that I could see that if I sped up really fast and I just went through the barrier that I could just fall over to the other side. And it was 7:30 in the morning. I was on my way to work. I was fully dressed. I remember what I was wearing. I still get this sick feeling in my throat and body, even just telling the story. And I put my hands on the wheel and I was crying and I was just over it and I was mentally not stable and I just started gunning it. I put my foot down on the accelerator and I just said, fuck it. That's it. I'm out. I'm just going to take it all the way. I don't care what happens. I just need to get out of this pain. I can't deal with it anymore. And I put it down, my foot down, and I held the steering wheel like this, and I just started going straight fast. And my intention was to keep the steering wheel straight and not to curve it. And I was in an altered state, so I literally just went in autopilot, like, that's it, I'm just doing this. And when I did that, all of a sudden, the wheel just started turning on its own. The wheel started turning on its own, and because it was a curve,
right,
instead of going straight. So then it curved and kept on going down off the freeway.
Yes.
I can't even barely talk about this. It's such a major.
Well, this is how your guides, this is what they do when it is not your time.
I can't, it's really hard for me to talk about it, you guys. But I had to tell you because that's how there's so much proof. There's so much proof that you have spirit guides with you. You just have to be open to it. But you should definitely go on because I'm going to start like triggering out, thinking about it right now.
Hey, what happened to my spray? I had my mystic spray.
There's a spray right there. Erica, spray us down. do our psychic bookstore spray bottle.
There's nothing wrong with your story. You know, people think
but I start to feel it.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean you need a little refresher?
Well, yeah, because like I'm feeling it all right
Toss
here.
It here.
Like, whoo.
Toss it.
It's hardcore.
Instant spiritual bookstore spray. Get it at rizmirza.com. That's not true. But I want to. I want to call this company and I want to private label it and say, can I buy a bunch of these and put my label on it and call it, well, I don't have to ask them permission. But that's what private labeling is.
Yeah.
Well, people are relating to the story. Some people have experienced similar. So
listen, I don't want to, I want to say something here is that.
By the way, on YouTube, are we supposed to use a different word?
You are supposed to use a different word for that. I think so. They flag words.
Can you look it up?
Like SUICIDE.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't really flag that word because there's a lot of positive talk about it, right? Meaning we can help people. But I want to say this is that as a medium, I used to ask this question because people would come to me whose relatives had taken their own lives and say, is my relative like, okay, did they go to the right place on the other side because they did this? And the messages that I got were that you're just given much more love. You don't get punished for it. But you have to do the work. You're still going to be like in rehab, but on the other side, it's spiritual rehab. And it's not necessarily easier than it is here. So I don't recommend it as a way of transcendence. You can get your transcendence right here while you stay in your physical body. with people. There are people that love you, and that there's so much more creativity left in you, and do not go there. You are an endless being. And
well, that's why we do this podcast.
That's part of the reason why I do this podcast, my own.
We're sprinkling a little joy, sprinkling a little magic dust on you guys. Hey, I'm in an ASMR mood.
No, I got to do some readings right now.
Okay, but let me just sprinkle.
Yeah.
He's trying to shut down the sprinkle, you guys.
What's the sprinkle?
Well, he's supposed to be not about rules. What the heck was that? Sprinkle, you guys. Sprinkle magic dust of positivity, joy, love, and grouchy over here. I'm gonna sprinkle dust on you. Well, because are you?
I'm spicy. I'm not grouchy.
Okay, you're spicy.
I'm definitely spicy. That's for sure.
Okay, next.
You can't be Indian and not be spicy.
That's cute. Okay.
When you ordered Indian on the menu, honey, they said you want it mild, medium, or spicy, and you said mild, but then you got extra spicy.
I got extra spicy.
So here goes.
Okay, so thank you for all that you do. Can you offer me, Stacy, anything to help my sister Meredith? I have a hard time connecting with my guides, and what can I do for her? I feel I'm letting her down. She has anxiety.
You cannot make her anxiety go away, Stacy.
It's so hard for a sibling. Her. You know, when a sibling
very difficult. My brother
it tears your heart out because
I have a brother who passed away, and he was terribly depressed at different times of his life, and I would have huge talks with him. And his brother's a medium and a shaman, and he wasn't able to receive it. What I mean by this is, well, just let them be. See, there's a fine line, right? Because there's letting them be and having them go through their experiences so that they can kind of hit rock bottom, and then the only way to look is up. And then what happens, some people are afraid, like, what if I do that and they take their own life, or they attract something that takes their life from them, and things get worse. There is a space that is between all of that will clear those extremes. And here's the place. Number one, you have to know that you have the soul contract you have with your sibling is, the contract is not, I'm here to save you. The contract is here that you will reflect back to me what you need to reflect back to me. I will reflect back to you what I need to reflect back to you. Anxiety is the root definition of the anxiety is I'm not safe. I'm not even safe from my past. I'm certainly not comfortable with my present, and I don't know what's going to happen in the future, and that's what anxiety is. It's not always about the future. You can have anxiety about things that happened in the past, and you can have anxiety about things that didn't happen in the past, are not happening in the present, and are not going to happen in the future.
Isn't it all about not knowing, the uncertainty?
It's that you don't know. It's that close. I mean, you're right, but I would want to take it a step further, which is that yes, but it's that you never are going to, nothing will ever convince that person. What has to happen when you...
So it's core belief changes.
Core belief changes. So your sister is experiencing the culmination of her beliefs about the past, the present, and the future. So many times people will say, I was at my best 4 years ago. And I say, no, you're at your best now. And they go, no, Riz, it's impossible. I don't have the same money. I don't have the same health. I don't have the same relationships. I feel worse, so I'm not at my best. I say, but you are always in the best position, because that's the way creation and reality works, is you're always at the edge of the next great creation for yourself.
Wait,
you can never
that's
go backwards.
Very powerful. I want people to really hear that statement again.
You're always at the edge of the next great creation for yourself.
Let's take a moment there. Because that was really, really, if you really let that in, you guys, if you really let that in, it could really void out anxiety.
It sure can, because what happens is, if the hero in her has to be awakened. Sometimes a person has anxiety until somebody comes for your child, and then suddenly you don't have any anxiety. You go into beast mode. So what happened there? Oh, we activated the love and the protection in you. You weren't feeling anxious in that moment. Now, you go, yeah, but I don't want that to happen. That's not the thing that can activate that person. Okay, but that's your natural state. Your true natural state is one of creation. So what are you creating? You have to learn how to use that power. So the anxiety is going to come from her seeking help in some way. If you have a shaman near you, find a shaman who can help her maybe do a sacred shamanic medicine journey, but something has to happen at this point.
Can I offer something? I'm just going to throw this out there, okay? Just to put more sprinkles on top of your message.
Okay.
I like to try things. I like to test things out, kind of like laboratory. And I really actually think because it works for me, and I wonder if it would work here. When you match the person's vibration by worry, concern, or getting anxious with them about their anxiety, it just feeds the fire. It just makes it worse. What happens if you show them that life is good, everything's okay, not show it in their face, like, look at life is good, but you're kind of like talking to them like everything is okay.
I would suggest to you to write down your most supportive, open, non-judgmental expression of what you feel for her, and write it down, put it in a long text, and say, anytime you're feeling down, I want you to read this. And whether you believe me or you don't believe me, you will always have this here to look at, knowing that it's here on your phone or in your email or in this envelope for you to look at. I would also, you know what? You know what's good? I like to send, I had this practice for a long time where I would send little gifts through Amazon to people.
I love that.
So it would be
I love that.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be expensive or, you know, and it would just go to their house with the little note.
Because sometimes sugar is all people need, like love, sweetness, you know, that spiritual candy, like
and give her
emotional
something.
Sweetness.
Yeah, I did this to a few of my friends for a long time where I would find things on Etsy or Amazon or eBay, stuff that they forgot about. Mm-hmm. So little things that they used to like 15 years ago or stuff they told me they liked when they were a kid. And I could find it for $10, $20. It depends on what I wanted to spend. But they would get this little package in the mail and it would brighten their day.
And sometimes that's all it takes is to have those little moments.
You're not preaching to her. You're just kind of getting her attention for a moment.
It's from a different place, so she's not expecting you to do that.
Yeah.
And it reminds her.
Did we get anything for that Armand or Armando name?
Not yet.
There was an earlier message, guys, that I was talking about Mount Everest. And there was someone here earlier who on the other side was talking about this, that they were very interested in Mount Everest, or they had a big poster, or maybe they went to Mount Everest. That would be wild. But who is that person? Okay. And then I gave a date, which was August 6th, as having a specific meaning to one of you guys. Please let me know. I got one more for you while you chew on those and see if that applies to you. Give me a moment. Red Eagle's giving me a little message. Paper fans. This woman is showing me paper fans. You know, that looks like an accordion? Is that person connected to you? Thank you. Let's keep going.
All right. So next is Dawn McKay. Hi, Riz. I'd like to know when I'll get a job. I've been out of work for a while now.
Wow, Dawn.
And trying to get back on my career.
Yes.
Into my career. Thanks so much.
You got to go. I see that you still could do some sort of freelance work is what I'm seeing. You got to offer some kind of freelance work. Maybe you're already doing that. There's a lot of opportunities now with being online. You know, there's websites like Upwork, which has a lot of freelancers of every kind. Go check out Upwork. You can get anything you need done online virtually. Just go check it out. I only want to list it. And there's other things like that. But let me just look into dates because you're interested in dates. I see one coming through a friend. Thank you. They show me the other person. Coming through a friend. The hours seem later, like nighttime kind of hours. End of August. End of August is where, I know it's still more time. I don't think it's August of 2025, so that's good news. Okay. Next.
Okay, next. We have in the house Pam.
Hi, Pam.
When my sister Rhonda passed in 1991, I saw this bee-like being, like the insect bee, like being that seemed to speak to me telepathically, almost like it was speaking for her to tell me that she was fine.
Yes.
I am wondering who that being was that I saw.
Who the being was that became the bee?
So let me reread it. When my sister Rhonda passed in 1981,
Got it.
I saw this bee-like being that seemed to speak to me telepathically, almost like it was speaking for her to tell me that she was fine. I was wondering
What's your
if that was
question?
I was wondering who that being was that I saw.
Okay, so let me tell you. So our gatekeepers, Rhonda has a gatekeeper, you have a gatekeeper. They will take the form of what we call a spirit animal, or come in the form of a particular animal that will either at that time have a meaning for you or at a later date have a meaning for you. So I actually gave a message about a bee, I think 2 weekends ago here, about how bees are, not only do they pollinate and help us have everything we eat, but they are excellent navigators that relay navigational directions to other bees, meaning one bee leaves a hive, goes around the garden, comes back, all the other bees gather around that one bee, and that bee starts to do like these dance moves, and that dance, the waggle, and the other bees are memorizing left, right, go this further, make another right. That's what the bee is showing them.
Right.
So when this bee comes through to you, it is about that she was over there, they navigated her clearly to the other side, and bees always have to do with honey, and there's a very sweet message about that is about her being the sweetness and the eternal joy, love that you feel there. I'm getting a message about your eyes. Have you had your eyes checked? Are you needing to get something done to your eyes? Let me know. Thank you.
Okay, Donna, if you've never felt safe, how do you convince your mind that you are?
Here's how. You've never been to Saturn, but you at least know what the outside looks like, and you can start to imagine. Cameras have not gone to the surface of the sun nor the surface of Saturn. You have never been in a lot of places that you can imagine being in. Points of reference are very important. That being said, now we talk a lot about shamanic sacred medicine work, and if you don't know what that is, watch Fantastic Fungi on Netflix, watch How to Change Your Mind episode 2, and watch a lot of documentation and research documentaries that have been done by a lot of universities now about the research that's being done in so-called psychedelic therapy. Now, why is that so effective? Why is the efficacy rate so high? It helps people learn how to be safe within their being. It also tests them they're afraid to even do that experience. Now, psychiatrists, neurologists, therapists, all people from all walks of life, if you think this is a weird discussion, my friends, don't, because this is about to be everywhere as a beautiful, beneficial modality to help people that have the most stubborn, resistant depression, anxiety, not feeling safe, PTSD, the list goes on and on, okay? So get up to speed. This is happening in the world. It's fantastic. There's nothing negative about it. You got to get out of this stigma that this is something wrong with it. It is part of every single ethnicity has some reference in their ancient tribal healing modality, whether you're white, brown, black, red, yellow, whatever color you have been, it was part of the tribal healing. And it was a connection to Great Spirit, to Source, to God, whatever word you want to use, perhaps to the self, to the universe, just the place of peace. So research that. I would recommend that for you so that we're not telling you to do all these other things. Just go do it. Go do a couple. Find someone. Find a therapist that can recommend that so you do it in a safe environment. Find a shaman. Yes, that's what you should do. You wanted a straight answer. I'm giving you a straight answer. Go do a sacred medicine journey. Find a way to do it for yourself.
And before I forget, are we sold out for the Virginia
shamanic healing? No, we have 2 spots.
Okay.
I added 2 spots.
For journey only,
not for the circle.
Do you want to tell them about that?
Yeah, so we'll be in Virginia, guys. If you're close to Virginia, we will be there on the weekend of June 27th, 28th, and at a beautiful private residence. It's going to be Oriah and I, and we are going to lead a sacred shamanic healing circle with sound healing and all of that. If you'd like to be part of it, I added 2 extra spots that are now available, and we always make it available first to our YouTube audience. Okay, so drop it in the comment section to Erica, and she'll help you with info about that if you're on the East Coast. Take a drive. If you're anywhere on the East Coast, drive up or down to Virginia. We'll be there. Okay, let's do a couple more. Shout out, spirit shout out. Here we go.
Linda Smart. Her birthday is August 6th.
Thank you, Linda Smart. Where were you at the top of the readings when I was announcing it? Nice to hear from you, Linda. Let me get you the message. Thank you. Retrieving the file right now. Having to go back in it. So I need to tell you about a particular past life. It's interesting we were talking about tribal things just a little while ago. So you had an African life. For me, this... If I were to say where the time period was, they used to call it Rhodesia back then. I don't think Rhodesia is any name anymore. Is that the Congo now, Erica?
I think so.
I don't know. How do I know these things? I cut out of class so much I wasn't there for history. But Rhodesia was named after Rhodes, who was the guy who ended up governing or conquering that area. Anyway, that's the place that you were tribally back then. Why is this message coming through? Why is it important here and now? Because it is about your ability to cheer people on. In that tribe, what I see is that you were kind of the cheerleader, really. I mean, they didn't use that word, but there was someone who helped to raise the spirits of the rest of the tribe, and that's what you're here to do. And don't worry about it never feeding you back. You're not here to be sourced by the people that you're helping. You're here to be plugged into the higher power energy source that you yourself know about, whether you call that God or Great Spirit or simply excitement, love, fun, and joy, right? You can call it that too. There was a great writer. His name was Rob Bresney. Rob Bresney was a fantastic astrologer. I don't know why I'm saying was. I hope he didn't pass away.
How do you spell his name?
Rob Bresney. He wrote a book called Pronoia, How the Entire Universe is Conspiring for You. And Rob Bresney used to write an astrological column. I think it was in the Village Voice in New York. Bresney is spelled Bresny. I'm so curious. I haven't said that name in so long. But you, August 6th person, whose name I forgot already. Was it Sue? No, Linda. Linda, you have made me remember. Find that book, Pronoia, instead of Paranoia. It was called Pronoia, the antidote for paranoia.
I think it looks like he's still alive.
He's still alive? What sign is he?
He is...
Is that his Wikipedia page?
Yeah.
Doesn't say?
That's weird. It doesn't say his age or when he was
his
born.
birthday, and he's an astrologer.
That's
Erica,
funny.
you should read Rob Bresney's work as an astrologer. Okay, Linda, that's the thing. Second wind coming for you now. It's been in the making. You're in your spiritual rebirth time. And if you need help, I'm always happy to help you. I do phone sessions. I do work here. Come down to LA. I'll work with you, help you get to that next level. Okay.
Last but not least,
yes.
55, but we did get a spirit shout out.
For which one? Spirit?
So this was for the paper fans.
For the paper fans, yes.
Yes. So
Nina.
Her husband,
yes.
Jimmy,
yes.
who was called Nino,
yes.
had the paper fans.
And is he passed on?
He is passed on.
Thank you.
And in fact, they were smelling the cigarette smoke today, which reminded them of...
I love when that happens.
I'm just... Oh, God. I can't even imagine. I don't ever want to imagine losing a partner. So, God bless. He is showing me the paper fans for you, and of course whatever when you smell that, by the way, that's a type of psychic sense, is when you smell things. I still, to this, after 20 years of being a psychic, I still forget what that psychic smell sense is called. Can you guys tell me, please, out there? You guys tell me, and Erica will read it to me. When you can smell things, we have clairsentience, clairaudience, clairvoyance. What's the smell thing? Okay, so you smelled that, and that's coming from the other side, and he wanted you to know, and he wanted to be creative in the way he's coming across to me to tell you hello, because I guess he knew you were going to be watching.
Clairofaction.
Huh?
Psychic smell or clairofaction is a lesser known psychic preference involving olfactory or smell perceptions.
Clairofaction?
So it says right here.
Olfactory sense.
Yeah.
Olfaction.
I thought I was going to say
olfactory.
like Ryan. Okay, clarifaction. Saying that right? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Clarifaction. Mm-hmm. It's when you have psychic premonitions about Clairol products. Dad jokes.
He just had to get one in there.
Dad jokes on Father's Day.
He had to. It's Father's Day.
Look, he is. By the way, you said his name was Nino.
Nino, yeah.
I don't know what the karate connection is, but he's just like all doing like karate kicks and moving his body like really beautifully. I'd love to know about that. Also, second question, did he know any police officers? Or was there police involved in how he crossed? I don't know. I don't think that's what it is. I think he knew somebody that either got into the police academy or wanted to get into the police academy. Okay, thank you. But hey, the paper fans are just him waving hello to you on the other side.
Oh, that's so cute.
And stay cool, because he's cool.
Well, you guys, this is a wrap up. But if you have any answers to any of Riz's questions, you can always drop it in the comment box.
Yes.
After this closes, the comment should drop down. Please leave a comment under the video and come back and visit us next time. And
I have a special request.
Yes.
This is, and I would really appreciate it if you guys did this for us. We have a link that Erica's going to send you that it's in the chat.
Post it again.
Click it, and you can. We would love for you to leave a review of our show of how you enjoyed it tonight and what you liked about it. And please just click that link. It's called So Tell Us, and type away. And that would be a great way for us to feel your love and share it in this community that we're building here.
And you guys, I appreciate all the things I've been reading, everything you guys have been saying. I haven't been able to respond to all of you, but I love the conversations. I love everything you guys are saying. I love all the new people coming and all the homies who've been holding down the fort. And you guys are very inspiring. And I'm just really glad to be here. Now, question for you. Yes. I know you have a Mount Shasta retreat coming up. Will you be here? I can't remember if you're going to be here for next Sunday.
Be here. I'll be back the day before Psychic Sunday. So we're on for next week.
Oh, right. Okay. So we're on for next Sunday. We will see you guys later, and bring your questions.
Yeah. Much love to you guys.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.